The cold metal walls of Cell 9A were silent. Lights flickered above, casting shadows that moved like ghosts. The room was not made for comfort. It was made to remind the prisoner that he did not belong here. Inside the room, one man sat in chains. His name was Jackson Ward, the last known human alive. His hands were locked behind his back. His feet were tied with thick energy cables. A red collar wrapped around his neck, blinking every 5 seconds. If he moved too fast, it would send 80,000 volts through his body. He had felt that once, only once. He didn't need a second time. To understand the warning, the alien guard stood behind a strong energy shield, watching him. 7 feet tall, green-skinned, and armor-covered, they were the Dravari, one of the galaxy's most feared warrior species. But even they didn't want to enter the room. "He's not moving," one of them whispered in their own tongue. "Let him rot," another replied. "Humans are extinct. This one is just a leftover." "A mistake," they laughed. But their laughter was short and nervous. Jackson didn't move. He just sat there, still silent, eyes half open. He had not spoken since his capture 38 days ago. Behind the glass window above, the control chamber looked down at the scene. 5 alien elites stood inside, all from different high-level species of the Galactic Empire. They had gathered for one reason: to study the last human. "He has eaten nothing for 3 days, the blue-skinned scientist reported. "He drinks water, but shows no emotion." "Try to break him again," said the tall one with 6 red eyes. "Test his resistance." "But after what happened to Elite KR-EX... "Do it." The room darkened. A high-pitched tone echoed through the cell. Jackson blinked slowly. No other reaction. The cell door opened. One elite entered. He was huge, twice Jackson's size, covered in armor and muscle. His name was Rethek, a champion of over 30 wars. His species believed in hand-to-hand combat and honor. Rethek looked down at the chained human. "Stand up." Jackson didn't move. Rethek growled. He reached down, grabbed Jackson by the collar, and lifted him to his feet with one hand. Jackson's feet barely touched the ground. "I said stand." Still no reaction. Rethek punched him hard in the stomach. Jackson bent over slightly. Blood came out of his mouth. Then he smiled. That smile sent a cold wave through the room. Rethek frowned. "You smile?" Jackson looked him in the eye. "You're all going to die." The room froze. No one had heard his voice until now. It was calm, cold, not afraid. Thek roared and raised his fist to strike again, but before he could bring it down, Jackson twisted. No one saw it clearly. It was fast. Too fast. J.A.K. and moved his leg in a sweep motion, even with chains. Rethek fell sideways, but caught himself. He reached again, only to be pulled down by the chain connected to Jackson's neck. In less than 3 seconds, Jackson had jumped, wrapped the chain around the alien's thick neck, and pulled hard. Thak struggled, his hands flailing. Jackson's eyes were full of fire. 30 wars, right? This will be your last. With one final pull, the alien's neck snapped. Cracked. The guard screamed. Sirens started blaring. The energy shield lit up with red. The huge alien body dropped to the floor. Dead. Jackson stood over him, breathing slowly. Then he sat back down as if nothing had happened. Panic exploded in the control room. How did he do that? He's chained. The collar should have activated. The chain isn't designed to be a weapon. No one ever used it like that. He killed Elite Fang with no weapon. While chained. The lead elite, a shadow-covered creature called Varuan, spoke softly. "He's not normal. He's not a survivor. He's a trap." The guards didn't enter the cell again that day. Not even to remove Fak's body. Jackson sat in silence beside the corpse. Time passed slowly. He waited. He was thinking, planning. Back in the control room, the elites argued. Maybe he's one of the Titan experiments. Impossible. That project was destroyed with Earth. Maybe not all of it. Varun leaned close to the camera screen. Jackson's face stared back at him, calm and unreadable. He wanted to be caught. Varun said. Later that night, a technician entered the cell corridor to scan the area. He was not a warrior. Just a thin, bird-like alien named Krell. His job was to collect data and send reports. He stood near the glass and activated his scan pad. The readings were strange, vital signs, stable. Body temperature, normal, neural activity, off the charts. What are you? Krell whispered. Jackson turned his head slightly toward the glass. Just slightly. Krell dropped his pad in shock. He could feel something inside his mind. Like a heavy shadow had stepped into his thoughts. Don't scream. The voice was inside his head. Krell froze. Jackson stood and walked slowly to the glass wall. The chains dragged behind him. He looked straight at the small alien. You don't belong with them, Jackson said quietly. I just work here. Krell stammered. I know. You're not like them. I'm just a tech. Then help me, or die with them. Krell looked around. The cameras looped for 30 seconds, Jackson said. Your heartbeat just increased. Don't lie. Krell gasped. How do you... I'm not just human anymore. Krell looked into his eyes and saw something old. Something powerful, something not entirely human. He stepped forward and placed a small device near the glass. It blinked green. The collar around Jackson's neck deactivated. The chains fell to the floor. You'll die if they catch you, Krell whispered. Jackson smiled again. They won't. 5 minutes later, alarm bells exploded through the ship. CELL. 9A is empty. Guards rushed in from all directions. The body of Feck was gone. So was the human. Chaos ruled the ship. One guard found another elite dead inside a storage room. His body was folded backward, bones shattered from the inside. There were no weapons used. The body cam showed only 3 seconds of video. In those 3 seconds, a shadow moved too fast for the camera to follow. The elite screamed and then silence. The council gathered again. He's not just strong. He's something else. We need to evacuate. No, we kill him now. 4 elites are dead. He was made for this. In a hidden room inside the ship, Jackson stood over a console. His hands moved quickly. He had learned alien tech. In just minutes, his brain worked differently now. The Titan project changed him. Humans had lost the war. Earth had fallen. But before that, scientists on Earth had created something new, something built to evolve instantly. A human who could adapt to weapons, languages, even thoughts just by seeing them once. Jackson was that experiment. He wasn't captured. He had allowed them to take him, because this ship wasn't just a prison, it was a command center for a fleet. If he could take it down, he could send a message across the stars. Humans were not extinct. They were coming back. And he was the beginning. Back in the control room, Varun watched the screen. On it, Jackson was standing over a console. He looked directly into the camera, like he knew they were watching. Then he spoke calm and clear. I killed 2. You have 12 left. Let's see what your best can do. The feed cut off. Black screen. The ship was in lockdown. Red lights flashed across every hallway. Doors sealed. Guards shouted orders in every language. Elite commanders barked commands over intercoms. Human subject has escaped containment. Lethal force authorized. This is not a drill. Every screen showed Jackson Ward's face. But not the weak, broken prisoner they had studied for weeks. Now, he looked like something else, calm, dangerous, and awake. Inside the main warship of the Dravari Empire, panic spread. Only one person moved without fear. Jackson. He walked through the ventilation shafts silently, barefoot, with perfect balance. His hands moved quickly, disabling cameras and sensors. He didn't guess. He knew where they were. The Titan program didn't just make him stronger. It made him faster, smarter, more aware. His brain absorbed information instantly. His body responded. Like a machine, but with the mind of a predator. He was still human. But just barely. Back in the command center, Elite Varuan slammed a clawed fist into the console. How was he moving so fast? The ship's AI responded. His movements suggest pre-mapped knowledge of the ship. Probability, he has full layout. Memorized, but how? He was only here 38 days. Another elite stepped forward. He's not human anymore. Not fully. In a dark lab near the reactor core, Jackson found what he was looking for, the memory bank. He tapped a panel and opened a secured data port. The screen lit up with alien text. Most humans would see gibberish. Jackson blinked once, then twice. The symbols rearranged in his mind. Within seconds, he understood the system. He smiled. The door behind him slid open with a hiss. He didn't turn. A guard walked in slowly, an elite from the Zaru species. Tall, with 4 arms and sharp silver armor. Have been trained in 6 forms of close combat, the alien said. You are not leaving this room. Jackson didn't answer. The Zaru moved forward, fast. In one blink, he was in front of Jackson with blades drawn. Jackson ducked, a blur of movement. 2 seconds later, the Zaru lay on the floor, arms broken, chest crushed, eyes wide open in shock. Still alive. Barely. Jackson kneeled beside him. 6 forms? Not enough. He tapped the final command on the panel. File upload. Complete system weakness identified. Core control override. ENABD now. Jackson had what he needed. He walked out, leaving the Zaru gasping. He wasn't killing for fun. He was killing to win. In the shadows of the hallway, Krell, the bird-like technician, waited nervously. He saw Jackson approach, unharmed. You survived. Jackson nodded. Thanks to you. You said you wouldn't be caught again. But they're sending elite assassins. 13 are left. Jackson looked down the hall. Not for long. Flashback. Before Earth fell, Jackson stood in a white lab, surrounded by scientists. They were dying. The lab had been attacked. Smoke filled the air. One of the scientists held Jackson's face. You are our last hope. Not a soldier, a message. Jackson nodded. Make them fear us again. Now he was the message. Back in the command room, Elite Varuan watched another death report. Another elite is down. No footage. All systems cut before impact. What is he doing? Varuan's claws tapped the table. He's planning something. Every death is part of it. A screen lit up. Message from Cell 9, a single line of text. 10 left. Across the galaxy, war had silenced humanity. They had lost battles, lost planets, lost families. But humans never forget. And this human, he remembered everything. Jackson and Krell moved through the maintenance shaft. Krell looked afraid. You need to understand, Krell whispered. They made us believe humans were animals, weak, easy to control. But you're not like the others. I am, Jackson said. I just survived long enough to evolve. They reached a chamber with a glowing orb in the center. Krell froze. That's the ship brain, Jackson nodded. Time to shut down their eyes. The orb pulsed with power. It controlled the ship's AI systems, navigation, weapons, sensors, doors. Guards were approaching. Footsteps echoed. Jackson moved fast. In 3 seconds, he reached the orb, placed both hands on it, and screamed. His brain connected with the alien AI. Pain exploded inside his head. Images, codes, alien languages flooded in. It tried to push him out, but Jackson didn't let go. He learned faster than the AI could. Block him. Suddenly control shifted. The lights on the ship flickered. Doors opened. Weapons shut down. The AI voice changed. Command override accepted. Human brain interface confirmed. In the control room, Chaos exploded. The ship is responding to his thoughts. He's inside our system. Cut power. We can't. He's locked us out. Varun roared. This is not a man. This is a virus. Jackson stood in front of the orb, breathing hard. Blood came from his nose. But his eyes were sharp. Krell, he said. Run. Krell nodded and disappeared into the vents. Two more elites stormed into the chamber. Jackson turned slowly. He was tired. Injured, but not afraid. They attacked together. Jackson ducked. Grabbed one. Used the other as a shield. Bones cracked. Screams echoed. In 20 seconds. Both were down. Jackson limped slightly. His side was bleeding, but he smiled again. 8 left. He walked alone through the halls. Lights flickered. Fires burned in corners. Alien bodies lay in his path. He didn't stop. The ship felt different now, like it was obeying him. Jackson had not just escaped. He was taking over. Varun stood alone in the observation deck. He stared out into space. Behind him. The doors opened. Jackson stepped in, bleeding but unbroken. Varun didn't move. You killed 6 of us, he said calmly. Jackson replied. I told you I would. Varun turned. You think killing us will change anything? The Empire is billions strong. Jackson's voice was quiet. I don't need to kill all of you. Just enough to remind the galaxy who we are. Varun lunged. He was fast, strong. But Jackson moved with precision. The fight was short, brutal. When it ended, Varun lay broken on the floor. Jackson stood over him. 7. In the shadows, Krell watched everything. He whispered, they were wrong. About humans. So wrong. On the bridge, Jackson stood in front of the main console. He activated the long-range beacon. Galactic emergency channel message. Human signal status. ACTIV. He spoke into the mic. This is Jackson Ward, last of Earth. But not for long. They thought we were gone. They thought we were weak. They were wrong. The screen blinked. Message sent. 12 hours after the signal was sent. In the deepest part of space, silent beacons began to blink one by one. Planets, moons, old battle stations. Places long thought abandoned. Now they glowed again with a message once thought impossible. Human signal detected. For the first time in years, the name Earth echoed across the stars again. Inside the Dravari warship, chaos had become quiet. Alarms were off. The lights were dim. Most of the crew was either dead, hiding, or had escaped in pods. And at the center of it all was a human. Jackson Ward walked through the halls like a ghost. His body was tired, injured, but still moving. Every elite that faced him had fallen. 7. Now. 7 of the galaxy's strongest. Gone. And he still wasn't done. In the engineering deck, small fires burned. A trail of blood marked Jackson's path. He didn't have time to rest, not yet. Not until they all knew that humans were not broken, that humans adapt, that humans fight. In a small chamber deep within the ship, Krell, the technician who helped Jackson escape, watched a map of the galaxy. His feathers twitched nervously. A red dot blinked on every system where the message had reached. This is impossible, he whispered. The signal had spread to hundreds of systems, faster than light, faster than reason. Somebody was listening. Jackson entered the room. Krell jumped. You single quotes re. Alive. Jackson gave a tired nod. For now. You don't look good, Krell said. You're bleeding. Your arm, it'll heal. Jackson sat down and stared at the screen. So they got the signal. Krell nodded. Yes, but, Jackson, even if humans hear it, where would they come from? Earth is gone. Jackson looked at him. Slowly. Quietly. Not everyone died. Flashback. Underground lab. Earth. 5 years ago. Sirens outside. Bombs falling. Alien ships lighting up the sky. Inside, a group of scientists worked on something strange. A capsule. CRYO-pod. A young soldier stood by. JAXON. Once you go in, we can't wake you unless someone finds you, the lead scientist said. I know, Jackson said. Why you? Jackson looked at the window. Because I won't break. Back in the present, Krell asked, you were frozen? Jackson nodded. They buried me in the wreck of a space station. I slept for years. Until a salvage crew found me and sold me to the Dravari as a curious relic. He looked at his own hands. They didn't know what they bought. Elsewhere in the ship, a door hissed open. 3 elite guards crept inside. They had one mission: kill the human. They moved like hunters, but they were being hunted. One stepped on something soft. He looked down. Broken camera lens. Too late. Jackson dropped from above, silent, brutal. He took one down with a metal bar. Spun. Broke the second's arm. The third ran. Jackson let him. He wanted the fear to spread. Back in the control room, the remaining elite leaders watched security feeds. All this from one man. One whispered, "He's not a man," another said. "He's evolution." They turned to Commander Varnak, the highest Dravari on board. He had not moved against Jackson, yet he watched, studied. Now he stood. "It's time I handle this myself." Jackson found an empty restroom. He sat for the first time in hours. He was bleeding from his ribs. His arm was cracked. One eye was swelling, but his mind was clear. He wasn't fighting for revenge. He was fighting to wake up the galaxy. To show them that even when humans fall, we get up. A voice came through the ship's intercom. Low, cold. "Jackson Ward. I am Commander Varnak. I offer you a challenge. Meet me in the arena. No weapons, no tricks, just you and me." Jackson stood. His voice came back over the same line. "See you there." Krell watched him walk toward the arena chamber. "You're hurt," he said. "This is a trap." Jackson didn't stop. "They all are." The arena was a training hall, round, echoing, designed for high-rank combat. Now it was silent. At the center stood Varnak, 8 feet tall, in dark armor. He removed his helmet. Scars covered his face. "I fought your kind during the fall of Earth," he said. "You were brave, but weak." Jackson cracked his neck. "I got stronger." They faced each other. The door locked. And the fight began. Via RNAK, charged. Fast, powerful. Jackson ducked, moved like water. Hit back. They exchanged strikes, bone on bone. Flesh against steel. Varnak punched him across the floor. Jackson spit blood, smiled. Came back harder. Every move was clean, every block perfect. But Varnak was strong, stronger than the rest. He grabbed Jackson, lifted him high, and slammed him down. Crack. The room shook. Jackson didn't move for a second. Then he rose again, breathing hard, bloody, but standing. "You should have killed me the first time," he said. Varnak roared and rushed again. This time Jackson was ready. He dodged left, struck under the ribs, twisted, kicked the back of Varnak's leg, and spun behind. One final hit straight to the neck. Crack. Varnak dropped, breathing, but unconscious. Jackson stood over him. 8. Across the ship, every speaker came alive. "This is Jackson Ward. 4 elites remain. You can run, or you can join them." Silence followed. In distant star systems, old satellites beeped. Underground bunkers on dead moons lit up. Spaceships, long hidden in asteroid fields, began to rise. Humans, not many, but not gone. They had survived, scattered, waiting. And now they had heard the call. Back on the warship, Jackson sat beside a small window. Krell brought him a water pack. "You could leave," Krell said. "You've done enough." Jackson shook his head. "Not yet. There are only 4 elites left." Jackson looked out at the stars. "Then I'll deal with 4 more." He took a breath. "We're not extinct. We're returning." The warship changed. Not just its lights or doors, but its heartbeat. The systems tightened, hallways sealed, vents closed. Lights turned red. The ship was preparing for war against one man. Lockdown protocol activated. In the command center. The last 4 elites stood together, silent, watching Jackson's trail of destruction. One of them, Elite Sarn, snarled, "We've lost 7 of our finest." Another, Commander Threx, growled, "We underestimated him." No more. Protocol Prime, an ancient system rarely used, was activated. Doors locked, drones powered up, defense turrets rotated. Gas chambers primed. Robot enforcers deployed. A single message echoed through the ship: "The human does not leave alive." Elsewhere, Jackson sat in a storage chamber, quiet, bleeding, thinking. Krell stood near the door. Anxious. "You should rest," Krell said. "I can't." "You've done enough." Jackson didn't look up. Enough is when the last elite falls. He tightened a cloth around his ribs. His breathing was shallow, but his eyes burned. Then the lights flickered. Krell froze. "Oh no." Jackson stood. Lockdown had begun. Doors slammed down across the ship with a heavy clang. Barriers appeared in hallways. Surveillance drones rose from the ceiling. Autoguns aimed. Jackson moved fast, back into the maintenance tunnels. But the tunnels were flooding with gas. Poison. His eyes stung. Lungs burned. He didn't panic. He timed his breathing. Moved low, covered his face. Found a control hatch. Punch. Crack, twist. He ripped the gas line open and lit a wire. The gas ignited behind him in a fireball that raced through the shaft. Jackson dropped into a chamber below just in time. In the elite command bunker, Sarn cursed. "He survived that?" Threx stared at the monitor. "He's adapting. He's learning the ship faster than the AI can adjust." Another elite, Vosek, tapped the control screen. "Then we force him into the proving ground." They rerouted. Doors, hallways, elevators. They were going to trap Jackson in the oldest part of the ship, the foundry, where ships were built. Where machines were born, where no one ever survived alone. Krell watched the map nervously. "He's being herded." He whispered. Jackson moved through dark corridors. Sparks lit the walls. Systems screamed. The ship was alive now, but not on his side anymore. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the floor. Metal arms shot out from the wall. Giant claws tried to grab him. He ducked, rolled, jumped between gears. The walls tried to crush him. He slid under a gate just as it slammed shut behind him, breathing hard, but alive. Then he looked up. He was in the foundry. A massive circular room, metal platforms, robotic arms, lava rivers. And across from him, 3 elites stood. Waiting. Sarn, Vosek, Threx. Threx stepped forward. "Time to end this." They circled Jackson. No weapons, just claws, strength, speed. But Jackson didn't back down. He took off the blood-soaked cloth from his arm and dropped it. "I'm ready." They attacked all at once. A blur of claws and fists. Jackson dodged one, kicked another, caught the third with an elbow strike. They hit back hard. He went down once, got up again. His ribs cracked. His face bled, but he never stopped moving, never stopped fighting. He grabbed a loose pipe, swung it like a blade, broke Vosek's knee, used Vosek's body as a shield, spun around and hit Sarn in the face twice. Threx roared and tackled him into a wall. Jackson groaned, but locked his legs around Threx's neck. Snap. Threx fell dead. 1 down. 2 to go. Sarn screamed in rage. Rushed Jackson, took him off his feet. Jackson landed hard. Sarn lifted him, ready to throw him into the lava. But Jackson headbutted him. Again. Broke his nose. Then slipped free. Used Sarn's own weight, flipped him into the lava river. A scream echoed. Then silence. 2 down. Vosek tried to crawl away. Broken, bloody. Jackson limped over. "Look down. You hunted us," he said. "You broke Earth." He raised the pipe. "We don't break." Crack. 3 down. Only one left. The last elite. Back in. The control center. Elite Ravak, the most secretive of all, watched silently. A female Dravari, cold, calculating. Covered in cyber armor. She didn't move when the others died. Now. She stood, walked to the center of the room, whispered one word. Activate Apex. Krell, still hiding in a small maintenance room, heard the ship's voice change. Apex protocol engaged. Warning, experimental unit awakening. His feathers flattened. Oh no, oh no no. The screen. Signal to Jackson. Signal to Jackson. Emergency. Get out of there. But the foundry was locked down. No way out. Jackson stood alone in the heat, surrounded by fire, blood, and silence. Until he heard it. A heavy thud. Metal footsteps. The door across the chamber opened. And from the shadows, a giant machine stepped out. 10 feet tall. Half Dravari, half metal. Red eyes, heavy fists. Electric core. The Apex unit. It was Ravak's secret weapon, her final line of defense. Jaxon. Faced it. No. Energy left. No plan. Just fists. He didn't care. Charged. The Apex unit caught him mid-air. Slam. Jaxon hit the floor. He rolled. Got up. A fist flew. He ducked. Just barely. He struck back. It didn't flinch. He was fighting a wall. The battle went on for minutes. Jackson used every trick, every move. His hands broke. His knee buckled. Still he fought. Until the Apex pinned him against the wall, its hand around his throat. The red eyes stared into his soul. Then, a small beep. The Apex paused. Confused. Another beep. The eyes blinked. Krell's voice came through a nearby speaker. I hacked the override. Jackson now. Jackson reached up. Grabbed the electric core on its chest. Pulled. Twisted. Ripped it out. Sparks exploded. The Apex froze. Trembled. And collapsed. Silence. Jaxon stood over it. Barely. Breathing, face covered in blood. Voice cracked. One more. In the command center, Rivek stared at the screens. She didn't scream. Didn't panic. Just vanished. Into the shadows. She wasn't going to fight. She was going to escape. But Jackson wasn't done. Not yet. He found the elevator. Broken. He climbed. The shaft, slow, painful, step by step. Upward. Toward the top of the ship. Toward Ravek. Toward the end. As he climbed, a message reached a hidden base on a cold noon. A human. Outpost. Buried. Forgotten. Now. Awake. A soldier looked up from the monitor. Eyes wide. He shouted, "Sir, it's real. The signal. It's Jackson Ward. He's alive." The room exploded into action. Prepare the fleet. Get the others. Earth's not done. Back on the warship, Ravek opened a hidden hangar. A stealth ship waited. She stepped aboard. I underestimated him. She said. The hangar door opened. Then a bang. She turned. Jaxon. Half dead. Burned. Bruised, but standing. No more running. He said. Ravek raised a plasma weapon. Fired. Missed. Jaxon through a tool struck. Her hand. Gun fell. They charged. The final fight was brutal. Quick. 2 killers. 2 survivors. She cut his shoulder. He broke her jaw. She slammed him into a console. He grabbed a wire. Shocked her body. She dropped. He caught her. Looked her in the eyes. You called us animals. He let her go. Animals survive. Ravek slumped. Alive. But defeated. Jackson walked to the console, typed in one word. Broadcast. The ship's speakers came alive. This is Jackson Ward. Human. Survivor. Fighter. The elites are gone. The Empire isn't invincible. We're not extinct. We're coming back. Across the galaxy, humans in hiding heard the message and smiled. 1 week after the Dravari warship fell. In the cold silence of space, wreckage floated like frozen bones. Parts of the ship Jackson Ward had taken down were scattered across orbit. Dead systems, empty fuel cores, burnt steel. But one thing echoed through it all. The signal. The message. Jackson had sent. It didn't just travel to nearby planets. It went everywhere. Planet 04. Underground human base. Inside a deep, hidden chamber. Dozens of humans stared at a glowing screen. A man in armor watched the video of Jackson Ward bloodied, burned alive. He smiled. "It's true," he said. "He survived." Another soldier stepped forward. "Commander, what now?" He looked at the old Earth flag on the wall. "We respond. Across the stars. On old mining colonies. On outlaw ships. In refugee tunnels. Humans, who had hidden for years, some born after Earth's fall, heard the signal. For the first time in a long time, they felt something new. Hope. But not everyone was happy. In the ruins of the Dravari Empire, surviving warlords watched the footage of Jackson killing elite after elite. They were afraid. The elites were symbols of power. If they could fall, so could everything else. Dark Council met in secret. There were only 5 of them left. One leaned forward. "This human must die." Another asked, "And if more humans rise?" The first one smiled cruelly. "Then we burn the ashes." Back on the warship. Krel walked through the destroyed halls. The ship was quiet now. The body of the Apex unit still lay in the foundry. The lights flickered. Jackson sat near the central console. He hadn't slept much. He didn't talk. He stared at a small picture in his hand. A photo, old and worn. A woman and a child. His wife. His daughter, both gone when Earth burned. Krell approached. "Jackson, we've picked up new signals. Human ships. Coming here." Jackson looked up. "How many?" "Dozens, maybe more." Jackson stood slowly. "Then let's welcome them." 12 hours. Later, one by one, human ships dropped out of light speed. Big, small, damaged, repaired. Some military, some civilian, all following the signal. Jackson watched from the bridge. So many different flags. So many survivors. One ship hailed them. The screen blinked. A face appeared. Commander Elia Cross. Black armor, stern face, sharp eyes. "Jackson Ward," she said. He nodded. "Welcome back," she added. The humans docked at the broken warship. Crew stepped out. Soldiers, engineers, children. Some cried when they saw the stars. Again, some stared at Jackson like he was a ghost. He walked among them. No speech, just quiet nods. They knew what he had done. He didn't need to say a word. That night, the survivors gathered in the warship's hangar. Fires burned in metal drums. Food was passed around. For the first time in years, they felt like a people again. Commander Elia sat beside Jackson. "I thought you were dead." "I was," Jackson said, "in a way. You did what we couldn't. You took the heart out of the Dravari." He shook his head. "One ship, that's all. But it was enough," she replied. "Enough to remind the galaxy we're still here." Jackson stared into the fire. "They'll come." "The rest of them," Elia nodded. "Then we hit back first." Elsewhere. In a dark sector, the remaining Dravari warlords activated Operation Cinderfall, a scorched earth plan. No more taking prisoners. No more mercy. If any planet helped humans. It would burn. They launched the signal to thousands of loyal fleets. The sky would be on fire again. The next day, a human scout ship returned from a nearby system. The pilot looked pale. He played a recording. A human-friendly Moonvexus 3 had been destroyed. Ashes, craters, bodies. Children. Commander Elia punched the wall. "They're sending a message." Jackson's voice was cold. "Then we send one back. Plan, Operation Ember. Rise. The humans had no empire. But they had nothing to lose. They started building, fixing the old Dravari warship, turning it into something new. A mobile base. A symbol. They called it the Ember Flame. Jackson helped train the Soldiers, hand-to-hand combat. Shipboarding, guerrilla tactics, every move designed to hurt the enemy fast and hard. Krell, meanwhile, worked day and night in engineering. He had left his people behind. Now, he was one of them. He brought secrets, Dravari ship maps, passcodes, weak points. Krell wasn't just a helper. Now he was a soldier. The first strike, a raid on Dravari. Supply world Varnic 9. Humans. Attacked fast. Disabled defenses. Freed prisoners. Took fuel and tech. Left. A message burned into the walls. We are the fire. We are the ash. We are back. The Empire responded. 3 full fleets moved in. The Ember Flame barely escaped. Jackson was nearly killed during re-entry. Again. But they kept moving. Always striking. Never stopping. In a small moment between battles, Krell asked Jackson, "Why do you keep going?" Jackson didn't answer at first. Then finally, "I don't want revenge. I want a future." Flashback. Earth, the day it fell. Jackson carried his daughter through smoke and fire. Screams everywhere. He reached a shelter too. Full. He gave his daughter to a woman with room. Then turned back to fight. He never saw them again. But he believed they survived. Back in the present, Krell nodded slowly. "You fight for them." "I fight," Jackson said, "so no one else has to make that choice." Late that night, the Ember Flame received a message from deep space. Encrypted. Unknown origin. Just 4 words. We heard the signal. The location attached. Sindar Rifta. Dead zone. Elia looked at Jackson. Could be a trap. "Or allies," he said. She asked, "Do we go?" He smiled. "We're human. We always go." Space was quiet. Too quiet. The Ember Flame drifted slowly toward the Sindar Rift. Ahead, the stars vanished, replaced by thick clouds of black gas and shattered moons. Giant rocks floated like frozen beasts. No signal could pass through. No ship had ever returned. And still, Jackson went in. Jackson stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the growing darkness. Commander Elia stood beside him. "Scanners are blind," she said. "Good," Jackson replied. Krell flapped his feathers nervously. "Not good. This place is cursed." Jackson didn't believe in curses, but even he felt it. Something wasn't right. The Sindar Rift was once the heart of a powerful race. The No Lari. They had vanished 500 years ago. Some said they left the galaxy. Others said they were erased. Now, only their ruins remained. The Ember Flame moved deeper into the rift. Lights flickered. Radars failed. Voices on the comms turned to static. The crew felt like they were being watched. Then, suddenly a signal. Clear, cold, strange. Krell jumped. "It's ancient Nalari tech," he said. "I think it's a guide," the message repeated. "Enter. One truth awaits." Elia asked, "Trap?" Jackson shook his head. "Only one way to know." The ship followed the signal. Through broken satellites. Dead warships. Floating skeletons. Then they saw it. A massive station hidden behind a gas cloud. Black and gold. Shaped like a spiral star. Bigger than any city. No Lari technology. Still alive. Still glowing. The Ember Flame docked. Inside the station. The air was clean. The lights were soft. Strange symbols floated in the air. The walls pulsed like breathing. No guards. No weapons. Only silence. Jackson, Elia, Krell, and a small team stepped inside. They followed the lights. Doors opened on their own. The station knew them. After minutes of walking, they reached a large chamber. In the center, a glowing pedestal. Above it, a hologram appeared. An old figure, Nalari, silver skin. "Empty eyes," he spoke. "Human, you are not forgotten." Jackson froze. "How do you know me?" "We watched, we waited. Now we offer what is left." Elia asked, "Offer what?" The hologram changed. Images of Earth, of the Empire, of the future. A voice whispered, "The Dravari found our weapons. But not our heart. You still have time, but not much. Then, a sphere rose from the pedestal, glowing with deep blue light. This is the seed. It holds the last Nolari AI, the last code. Use it to light the fire again. Jackson stepped forward, held the seed in his hand, it felt warm, alive, he didn't fully understand what it was, but he knew it mattered. Suddenly, the walls shook, sirens blared, the lights turned red. A cold voice echoed, "They found us." Outside the station, a Dravari dreadfleet dropped out of Warp Point 10 warships, commanded by a warlord Jackson thought was dead. Ravak. She had survived. Scarred, furious. "I want the seed," she growled, "and I want his head." The ember flame launched. Defenses, fighters scrambled, the rift became fire. Explosions lit the gas. Clouds. Laser fire rained down. The Sindar station groaned. Inside, Jackson turned to Elia. "Go back. Get the seed to the ship. What about you? I'll hold them." She didn't argue. She knew him too well. She ran. Krel followed her, carrying the seed. Jaxon turned back. And waited. The door opened. Dravari elites entered. Not many. Just 5, but trained. Armored. Fast. Jaxon fought. No weapons. Just fists. Gravity. Fire. He used the walls. The machines. The station itself. Every punch had fury. Every kick had meaning. He broke one's neck with a twist. Used a broken pipe to stab. Another blocked a plasma blade with his arm, screamed in pain, then used that pain to strike harder. But there were too many. He fell to one knee. Then a shot rang out. Elia returned, blaster in hand. "Miss me?" She fired again. Jackson rose. Together they cleared the room. Krell's voice came over the com. "The station is falling. We must leave now." They ran. The station collapsed around them. Pipes burst. Floors cracked. They jumped into the ship just as the station exploded behind them. The ember flame jumped to LIG-HTSPED. Just in time. Silence. In the medbay. Jackson lay on a table, burned again, broken again, but alive. Elia placed the seed next to him. Krell stared at it. This could change everything. He whispered. Jaxon opened his eyes. It already has. In the deep black of space, Ravak watched the station's remains. Her fleet had failed, but she had one thing left. Tracker, planted on one of the human fighters. She smiled. "I'll find him." Back on the ember flame, Jackson stood alone, holding the seed, looking out into the stars. Behind him, the crew worked, planned, prepared. Ahead, the war was still waiting. But now, so was something else. Something ancient. Something powerful. Something human. 2 weeks later, the ember flame drifted near a dying star. The ship was quiet. Tired. Wounded. But still alive. And in its heart, deep in the command room, lay the seed, glowing softly. Waiting to be awakened. Jaxon stood alone, watching it. He had seen weapons. He had seen war. But this was something more. The last memory of an ancient race. And now it was in his hands. "Commander." Elia entered. "You haven't slept." "Didn't want to," Jackson said. Elia stepped closer. "We scanned the seed." Krell decoded part of it. "What's it say?" She paused. Then answered. "It knows how to build things, big things, lost things. It's a map to a place. The Last Forge." The Last Forge, a hidden Nolari facility. A place where machines were made. Not just weapons, but living machines. AI minds, energy cores, warframes. Everything the Nolari used before they vanished. "We could use it," Elia said. "If it still works." Jackson nodded. Then said quietly, "Or it could be a trap." Still, they followed the map, across dead space. Through asteroid fields, past a black hole, until finally, they reached a hidden star system. No planets, only one massive structure. The forge. It was built into an asteroid. Half buried, half glowing, shaped like a massive gear. Krell stared at it from the screen. This place was never found, he whispered. Even the Dravari thought it was a myth. The ember flame. The team entered. Inside, it was quiet. Dusty. But alive. Lights flickered on as they walked. Old machines turned. Walls lit up. The forge was waking up. In the center chamber, a large AI core rose from the floor. Holograms flickered. To life, a Nolari figure appeared, tall, white eyes, metallic skin. Welcome, Seed Bearer. Jackson stepped forward. I'm not Nolari. You carry the last spark. That is enough. The eye scanned the humans. Your kind is broken, scattered. You want power, tools, a way to win. Jackson said, we want to survive. Then the forge is yours, but it must choose you. The lights dimmed. The seed floated from Jackson's hand. It entered the eye. The room trembled. Suddenly, a blue circle opened in the floor. A machine rose up. Half built. Empty. It looked like a suit of armor. 12 feet tall. Ancient. Elegant. Powerful. The eye spoke again. This is Ether-class Warframe. Titanus 7. Only one may bond with it. The crew stepped back. Everyone looked at Jackson. He didn't move. He stared at the Warframe. Then slowly stepped forward. He touched it, and everything changed. Flashes of light, visions of the past. The Nolari, building worlds. Fighting enemies humans couldn't imagine. Jackson saw them all. Then, pain. He dropped to his knees. The armor was inside his mind, testing him, breaking him. Elia ran toward him, but the AI stopped her. He must pass alone. Inside Jackson's head, memories played like fire. Earth burning, his wife screaming, his daughter calling. And him running. Not fast enough. Never fast enough. Why show me this? He shouted. The AI answered. To build a weapon, you must break the shell. Jackson roared, fought through it, forced the pain back, remembered their faces, not as they died, but as they lived. He stood, tears in his eyes, and the armor opened. It wrapped around him, not like metal, but like purpose. When it was done, Jackson Ward stood in silence. Taller. Stronger. Eyes glowing blue. The Warframe had accepted him. The AI's voice was calm now. He is now Flameburn, the last weapon of the First War. Krell whispered, you look like a god. Jackson turned, voice deeper, calm. I'm still human. The forge came alive. Machines built new tools, armors, drones, energy shields. Not many. Just enough. Jackson turned to the crew. This is not for revenge, he said. This is for the future, Elia smiled. Then let's light the fire, but far away. Warlord Ravake watched. She had followed them again, cloaked, waiting. Her scientist hissed. It's true. They found it, she growled. No matter. I'll take it from their bones. Back in the forge, an alarm sounded. Krell shouted, we've been found. Jackson didn't wait. He stepped outside, jumped from the hangar, and flew. On his own, the Warframe carried him, like wings of flame. He landed on a Dravari scout ship. Tore through it with bare hands, faster than anything Elia had ever seen. The battle had started, and Jackson was the tip of the spear. Back in the forge, the crew defended the ember flame. Elia led the charge. Krell activated drone defenses. Explosions rocked the halls, but they held the line. Jackson moved through space like lightning, punching through fighters, disabling engines with one hit. But then Ravak came, her ship twice the size of the forge, black, covered in skulls. She hailed Jackson directly. You think armor makes you special? You're still just a man. Jackson looked at her. And said, then, come find out. She launched toward him. In a personal mech covered in blades. The two clashed. Mid-space. Steel versus fire. Speed versus rage. The fight shook nearby ships. Jackson blocked her blade, punched her chest plate. She stabbed his shoulder. He ripped part of her mech off. Elia watched from below. He can't win this alone. Krell nodded. Then maybe he doesn't have to. He activated the Forge's last system. Dozens of tiny drones flew out, not to fight, but to heal. Jackson's armor to keep him moving. Jackson grabbed Ravak, spun mid-air, slammed her into a broken ship. She roared, "Even if you kill me, more will come." He looked into her eyes. "I know." And he let go. Her ship exploded. The pieces rained down into the gas. Clouds. Jackson floated there, breathing heavy. Alive. The crew cheered. The Forge was safe. For now. Later, in the command room, Elia looked at him. "You're not the same." "I'm still me," he said. "But something's changed." He looked at the stars. And whispered, "Maybe this time we're the Empire." Darkness. The stars were gone. The galaxy was silent, but not for long. Because something was coming, and this time humanity was ready. 1 month later, the Ember Flame had changed. It was no longer a lone ship hiding in deep space. Now, it was the heart of a growing fleet. Human rebels, alien, allies. Engineers, fighters, survivors. They had heard the story. A man who fought Dravari elites with his hands. A human who wore Nolari armor. A ghost named Jackson Ward. Jackson stood before the crowd. He was taller now. The Nolari warframe glowed with blue light, but he spoke softly, like a man, not a god. "They think we are weak," he said. "They think we ran, broke, and scattered." He looked around the hall at humans from Earth, Mars, Europa. Even Krell stood with him, feathers straight with pride. They forgot who we are. They forgot that when you burn our homes, we become fire. The room went silent. Then Dash roared. The resistance was ready. Across the galaxy, the Dravari Empire moved faster. Ravak's death had angered the warlords. They sent fleets to crush. The uprising. Cities burned. Ships vanished. The last free planets called for help. Jackson answered. The final battle had begun. Chapter 1. The plank roll showed a hologram of Fort Varaka Giant. Dravari Station near a neutron star. It was there. Fuel source. Their central data bank. And their symbol of control. "Destroy it," Krell said, "and we cracked their spine." Elia looked at Jackson. "Are we really doing this?" He nodded. "This is where we turn from survivors to soldiers." Chapter 2. The fire wakes. The resistance fleet jumped in 24 ships. Total. Small. Underpowered. But fast. Focused. Jackson flew ahead alone in his warframe. The others followed close behind. As they neared Fort Varak, the alarms began. Dravari ships launched. Hundreds of fighters, turrets, activated. Missiles locked on. But it was too late. Jackson tore through the defense line like a blade through paper. The armor moved with him. The Forge drones healed his damage. His FISTs broke hulls. His mind was calm. Elia led the second wave. Krell stayed on the Ember Flame, guiding the hacking systems. "We need 5 minutes inside their core," he shouted. "Just 5. Jackson cleared a path. Elia's team boarded the station. Gunfire everywhere. Humans fought like lions. Some fell. None stopped. Inside the core room, Elia placed the seed. The AI inside it spoke. "Link complete. Overload started. Evacuate." But the Dravari were closing in. Dozens of elites, heavily armed. Fast. Deadly. Jackson appeared like thunder. The last guardian. He faced them alone. No words. No fear. Only fire. The final fight was brutal. 1 man against 20. But he was more than man. Now he was memory. Pain. Hope. He was all the people the Dravari had killed. And he would not fall. He blocked. Blades broke armor. Used the Forge's fire to launch shockwaves. The walls cracked. The station shook. And then it happened. The seed finished its work. A pulse of light shot through Fort Varak. The star outside flared. Energy built too much. The station exploded in a ball of fire. The resistance barely escaped. Jackson did not. Chapter 3. The Silence Pack. On the ember flame, Alia stood still, watching the blast fade in the distance. No signal from Jackson. Krell lowered his head. He did it. Silence filled the bridge. No cheers. Just quiet. And then Krell's screen blinked. Signal detected. A slow pulse, very faint, from a small piece of debris. Alia opened the hatch. And there he was. Floating. Burned. Broken. But alive. The warframe had protected him. Just enough. They pulled him in. Alia held his hand. You idiot. Jackson smiled weakly. Still human. Chapter 4. The afterlife for Dvarak was gone. News spread across the galaxy. The Dravari Empire weakened. Their fleet scattered. Their soldiers scared. Because they saw what humans could do. New planets joined the resistance. Alien species came out of hiding. Trade routes reopened. Children could dream again. But peace would not come easy. There were still battles ahead. Still warlords to face. Still blood to spill. But Jackson had lit the fire, and now it burned in all of them. On Earth, they built a statue, not of a god, but of a man, standing tall, one arm broken. Eyes forward. Below it, carved in stone, we were not born for war, but when it came, we became the flame. Jackson stood in front of it one day. Alone. Helmet off. Just a man. Alia joined him. They think you're a hero, she said. I'm just a soldier, he replied. She smiled. No, you're more. You're a reminder that one man can change everything. Final line. In the end, the galaxy did not remember the ships or the weapons. It remembered the fire. It remembered U.S.